All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Everyone Liked That. My name is Lim. You can call me Limmy. I am a Twitcher, a YouTuber, and a lover of all things video games. Currently obsessed with my Nintendo Switch 2 and waiting very impatiently for Pokemon Day on Friday. I am joined by the Glitch Blitch. If you want to go ahead and share a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm the Glitch Blitch. I stream on YouTube. I mostly play scare games and RPGs. I'm currently playing a game called Luto, which is kind of blowing my mind. I was expecting like a jump scare game, but it's kind of like the Stanley Parable meets PT. Like it's really weird, and I'm kind of loving it. Scared the crap out of me, but yeah, in a kind of like psychological way where I was like psyching myself out more than anything.
Yeah, I'm still
But
getting,
yeah,
I'm still remembering just how deep in the Duffy you are with horror games. Like every week, I'm like reminded
yeah.
again, and it's cool. I love horror. I just, yeah, it's you kind of got the finger on the pulse with that. That's great. And then I'm joined by New Age Retro Steven as well. Hello, Steven. How you doing?
Good, good. I am New Age Retro Steven. I am not a Twitcher, nor am I a Witcher, but I am a number one Earthbound enjoyer. I am a cozy game aficionado, and I am a quesadilla connoisseur. Nice to
Oh,
meet you guys.
oh,
So I
oh,
should not toss coins at
oh,
you anymore, I guess.
oh.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, I am the number one Earthbound enjoyer on this podcast, succeeded only by
Uh-uh.
one New Age Retro Steven. So.
On the next episode, Lim has a black eye.
Well,
Run a competition to see who knows more trivia.
well, welcome back, everybody. This is this is what our second official episode, but not our second official time jabbering about games. We do this all the time. We're like, why don't we just start recording it? You know what I'm saying? So here we are. Welcome back. Lots and lots of news. This has just been kind of a crazy week to the point where this
Insane.
is probably going to be a little bit longer of an episode. Usually we go about an hour, but I'm going to guess probably cap us around 90 minutes. But we want to kick things off first just by talking about the Xbox shakeup and all the news that are kind of going with that. I mean, you call shakeup. I mean, I guess, yeah, shakeup is the right term. I'm having a little bit of frustration around the way that journalism works in 2026. There's a lot of I don't know, just a lot of hyperbole, a lot of clickbait, and the YouTubers pick it up, and then just this big echo chamber. So we're actually probably going to talk even more about around the concept of what happened here than necessarily the news itself. But I will first, let's just share the context for the news for those who are uninformed. And I'm also grateful. We've got some community members that are. Gaming is one of those things where like you played games maybe when you were little, Mario and Pokemon, and you pick up a couple games here and there, or you're like deep into games. There seems to be a lot of polar opposites in that end. So some people don't know what any of this is. So I'm going to start from the top. Microsoft has been, people know the Xbox 360, they know, Halo, they know some of these things. Xbox has strayed farther and farther and farther away from that over the past 5 years. Their whole play is to be the Netflix for video games. You can stream your games on something called Game Pass. I'm actually a big Game Pass lover. I use it a lot. It is great when you think about it because you can play all kinds of games. But it sounds like there has not been a lot of love for that, maybe internally in Xbox. Xbox has been headed by a long time Microsoft employee of like 35 years, Phil Spencer, also an avid gamer himself. Well, he has retired suddenly, and then it was all expected that his second in command, Sarah Bond, was going to be the one to take over because people could kind of see him retiring soon. Well, she suddenly resigned, and this was all very unexpected. Microsoft placed in their stead Asha Sharma, who is a Microsoft employee, formerly, I believe, CEO, correct me if I'm wrong, of Instacart. She is not a gamer, from my understanding. She is more of a tech kind of AI type. And, there's a lot of talk now of what happened. Why was this so sudden? This is the 25th anniversary of Xbox. It seems very weird to make this big change all of a sudden. And what's the strategy now? Are they gonna kind of pivot back to what they were doing? There's some statements here that I can read in a bit, but let's just get the initial thoughts and add any more context if I missed it. Hopefully, I did a good job there.
Great job.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like Sarah Bond kind of lost the plot a little bit with the whole "This is an Xbox" campaign. So it and apparently it upset people at Xbox because you're basically like you don't need to buy an Xbox anymore because you can play it on your phone or whatever.
There is
And
circumstantial evidence.
From what I'm reading, Asha is kind of like her specialty is getting
There is
people to
circumstan-
start
Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to like
using
actually
products.
mute it. Repeat that last little bit there. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just saying that I feel like Asha, like besides the AI weirdness, her thing apparently is getting people to use products and like she's done that with Meta and a few different companies. Apparently she was part of the push to get Messenger kind of like set up to be more like Discord, like with the phone calls and stuff. Um, yeah, so I feel like she's a good choice because Sarah Bond kind of was like, you don't need to buy Xbox anymore, and they need people to buy Xboxes, and apparently it's her thing to get people to buy stuff. So I feel like in that sense, she's a good pick for that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point to make that you need to buy Xbox to play Xbox. Now, I
Yeah.
personally agree. I personally agree. I like the fact that Microsoft lets you play Game Pass and Xbox games on the PC on Windows. Now, I would like to look back at a time, looking back at the Game Awards when you had Reggie Fils-Aime, Phil Spencer, and Shaw Layden all took the stage, all compete, these are CEOs and they're complete, rivals of each other, but they just said, hey, we love the games industry. We want to see it thrive. Yes, we're competing against each other, but all we want is for the industry to thrive. And I thought that was a beautiful moment. Now, but if you fast forward to today, you're looking at, game franchises like Gears of War, Halo, that there's not a lot of faith that there was back in the day. I mean, what's the last Halo game we got? We got Halo
What's up,
Campaign
everybody?
Evolved for the PlayStation 5, and it's a little confusing. I would like to see some games go cross-platform, but why is it that we get Halo Campaign Evolved PS5 and then these guys exit? It it's kind of weird to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they should be trying to attract people to Xbox, not just be like the Sega, of like they don't have when they stopped doing Dreamcast, they just started making games instead. Like they're going the way of Dreamcast if they don't stop this,
so
I feel.
it's good that we're talking about this. I actually didn't think we'd have. It's been interesting listening to you both because I figured we'd be. Like I actually have a differing opinion on a lot of this.
Oh,
So the Phil Spencer came on and talked with shout out Kind of Funny Games podcast
yes.
and spoke about how the Xbox One PS3 generation was the worst generation to lose because people then were building their catalogs and basically staking their claim to their ecosystem. If there was a time to double down and get people to go from the 360 to the next, if anybody doesn't know, Xbox 360 was absolutely by far the best console Microsoft had. They won that generation to some extent. They were at one point. I think the PS2 caught up and ultimately was better, but like they had a real fighting chance. That season of gaming. And when they made the Xbox One, they made it a plain flat brick, and they focused on TV and integration, and they tried to chase they just did a lot of chasing trends to try and make it this all-in-one thing, with the Kinect and all that stuff, and they just fell on their face. It just wasn't great. And I'm sorry, the PS4, Xbox One generation. The one previous to that, the PS3, was Sony's one of their worst. It was way too expensive. A lot of things didn't play well. The 360 really did well that generation. The PS4, Xbox One, I mean, Sony was back on top again. Nobody really bought the Xbox One. And since then, the rest is history, and people really stuck their claim. If they were Xbox fans, they stayed that way, but most people were either PS4 or switched to PC, which has continued to emerge to be where things are. I mean, everything is converging into it. Everything's basically a PC at this point. Um, I feel
So
like without them, if they had continued what they did with the 360 and made a console that was really successful and people really stuck with that, I agree with all of what you're saying. The thing is that I kind of see what the vision was, because there really was no coming back from how far behind they had fallen since the 360. And I am the perfect person for Game Pass. I really love Game Pass. I think it's a great value. I believe in the future of cloud gaming to some extent, and I do like the idea that everything can be an Xbox. Like, I'm actually kind of the target for this, because I'm somebody that does not really like tinkering around with the PC. I've tried many times, and every time something doesn't work right, it just pisses me off, and I just want to grab something that works. I, you know,
It
I
can be both, though. It doesn't have to just
For
be one or
sure.
the other.
For sure. Like right now, I have a
I feel
Switch
like that's
2 and a Series X. And I have the Series X because it has Game Pass, and I can play the value of games I can play without having to buy individual games is really worth it to me. So, and I've used cloud gaming a lot. I've used it on a TV, I've used it on my phone. Like, I actually use the ecosystem quite a lot. I just don't know. Like, if you're looking at the hardware sales and how they've done, and the potential for Game Pass, I do understand why you would go the cloud gaming route. But I also understand, I do think that everything's an Xbox did feel a little premature for
yeah.
where the
The mobile
technology
store
is.
never launched.
For where the technology is. So I kind of see both sides. I see both sides.
Yeah. So, okay, to your point about PS3 being like kind of where Sony fell off and Xbox did well, I believe is because of the backwards compatibility problem. Only the fat PS3s had backwards
Hmm.
compatibility, and then they completely dropped it. And Xbox was really good with the backwards compatibility that you could just put your old game in, and then it would play like an upscaled version of that game. Like, I feel like that's kind of where Sony failed
Well, it's
and
also was
why every
cost
system
too, because
and cost.
360 had a $300 and a $400 version, and the
Mhm.
PS3 launched at $500. That
Yeah,
was the
and then they
big,
dropped the backwards compatibility
yeah,
because it was too much money.
that was the big miss. Is it's almost kind of like what's happening right now, where the consoles are the thing that are 500, and like everything else is like if you want to buy a Steam Deck, like the nicer one, or you want to buy, like the Steam machine, they're talking about doing a thing like nobody, like after this, like they're talking about the Switch 2 going up in price because of the way these chips are
Yeah.
going. Data for again, I'm the context guy over here because there's just a lot going on. All the tech companies are chasing AI. All these data centers are being built up, and all of the chips are going to data centers and jacking the rates of everything up. So all of these other technologies that are trying to release, because everybody's kind of got this hand in the handheld market and all this stuff, everything's going up to the point where consoles that have already come out are going to go up in price next year. And it's what's kind of happening now is like, you know, the PC market is kind of where everything is converging, but yet the consoles are still the cheaper option. What I'm finding interesting here is that everybody seems to be chasing like this premium end is the weird thing, right? Like the one part about Xbox I don't understand is like they're talking about doing like a handheld console or something as their next console, but making it like a premium thing, and then focusing on like the cloud and like their Series X being where they like play Game Pass. I don't know. All we can say is like the Microsoft strategy is all over the place. That is clear. Like
Yeah.
there's clearly lack of clarity in what's going on. So just to kind of renew focus on what we're talking about, Phil Spencer was on the way out. Everybody kind of knew that. They didn't know when, but
Yeah.
it's not a surprise that he left. What is a surprise is that Sarah Bond resigned.
Well, it was a surprise to her too, apparently, and her team.
Yeah. And
Like they had that LinkedIn article, like we want your feedback, and
the,
then everybody didn't mention her, and then Phil Spencer was the only person that
yeah,
mentioned
like
her,
there's
and then
no
suddenly
world
she's
where
out.
this was by design on Sarah
Yeah.
Bond's end. Like this definitely I think was a you're done kind of situation.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to use her as a scapegoat for
Yeah.
why everything, like they're trying to turn her into the Liz Truss of video games. Like
That one.
everything went wrong because of her.
Who is it? Who is that?
That British politician lady that was so incompetent.
Oh, got it. Well,
Remember the cabbage?
we
What's
got
gonna
a
last longer, the cabbage or Liz Truss?
we got a lot of incompetence floating around, but um, it's hard to know which one, which day of the week. So let's talk about the discourse because I think this is a more interesting conversation. Companies are disorganized. Companies are do things that are crappy. We all know this. That's less interesting to me. What's more interesting to me is the discourse around what's going on. So
Yeah.
there is a kind of a frenzy right now. Like I'm even just on, YouTube just looking. And sorry if I jump scare everyone with audio again. I'm trying to keep things muted, but so many YouTubers on here, like so many YouTubers on here just talking about Cerebon, 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 and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
what like so many things to break down. One, like we just have these like independent YouTube journalists that just pick all this stuff up and just like to talk about whatever's shocking, and there's so much clickbait and all this stuff, and that just drives me crazy on its own. But like Phil Spencer was leading the charge, so we also need to
Yeah.
recognize here like Phil has been running Xbox since 360, from my understanding. I mean, like for the vast majority of it, like like there's just as much onus there. Like okay, cool, maybe it's Sarah Bond's idea and she wanted to push that or whatever, but like there's a lot more things in play here, and we need to not just like pile on one person and like knocking them
Yeah.
down. And then I just
There seems to be almost like a hit out on her right now, like to make her look bad and make Phil Spencer look better or something. Like, I don't know what's going on.
something.
It's interesting too because like I know Phil Spencer. I didn't necessarily know Sarah Bond because I wasn't following Xbox as closely. Yet, despite my knowledge of the situation, I only see Sarah Bond, Sarah Bond, Sarah Bond.
Yeah.
It's like everybody just wants to make this a Sarah Bond thing, but like Lim said, no. Phil Spencer has been the spearhead of this operation for the longest time. Why is
Yeah.
and they've also used specific verbiage. Now we don't know what happened internally
Difficult
just
to work
yet.
with.
Yes, we don't exactly know what happened just yet, but they did the whole, oh, Phil Spencer is retiring. Now, again, anybody who's worked in any kind of like corporate job or followed anything like that, the verbiage they always use is, oh, X person is retiring to focus on their passion, whether it's fishing or bird watching. I've seen it multiple times. And that's the grace that they gave to Phil Spencer. He's retiring to focus on his passion. Oh, but Sarah Bond, she was fired. Yeah, of course she was going to be
Yeah.
fired. And it's like, well, what's going on here? What
I
exactly
know.
is the conflict?
Apparently,
And why
there's
is
all
this?
these
It's a double standard.
rumors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So one, she's not a gamer, so she's easy to hate. Like people wanted to hate her right out of the gate.
Also, like
because she's a game, right?
we think, right? Like I also just like there's a lot of this like just like we don't know these people very well. We haven't really heard them talk.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she is either. It doesn't appear to be that way. But like that doesn't always equate to like there's just a lot of generalizing, and like we don't know that. Like sometimes you do need a leader that is a little bit removed from the product just to like have
Yeah.
a new set of eyes on it. Like that's okay.
And not make emotional decisions.
I think the main thing is I just think there's a lot of content. Like we could come on here and get into every detail about every part of the drama and all that, but I think a lot of it is a feeding frenzy, and like part of the reason why we I know you kind of wanted the we kind of arrived at the name everyone like that is we're trying to like make this be like show the good side of gaming and stuff like
Yeah.
that too. So I think where I feel called when I think about this stuff and speak about this stuff is to just bring the temperature down a little bit and just like recognize like these are teams of people
They're
trying
people.
to work within the confines of large corporate structures. Like part of the issue of why there has been so much crazy shit this year between PlayStation and Xbox is they're both run by giant organizations that do a lot of things. Whereas Nintendo's just out here making toys, man. And that's why I
Yeah.
like Nintendo so much. It's just about fun, right? And I think that's where we've lost the plot on a lot of this stuff is that, we're just focused on the wrong things. And so, like,
Yeah.
to bring it back to reality here, Xbox has 3 great games coming out this year. This is the year that they need. And the reality
Gears
is
of War, right?
no. Well, Forza Horizon
Like,
6.
well, I mean, on the way.
On the way, yeah. Forza Horizon 6, Fable, and Beast of Reincarnation are all big Xbox Day 1 Game Pass games for this year.
Yeah.
And those are great. And a lot of people, they don't know anything other than, you know, I just want to play great games. Like that's still the majority of
Yeah.
people, is they just want to play games that they understand and that they know. Crazy stat for you, but anybody who buys, I think it's more than like a couple games a year or something, is in the top like 2% of all gamers. Like most gamers buy like one or two games a year and play free to play stuff. So the reality is
Mhm.
most people aren't even going to know about all this inner workings and all this stuff. They just want great games. So if Xbox, regardless of all this, can just pull off some great wins this year, that is the best thing that they could do. And I really hope we can just get back from all sides. Just do what Nintendo does. Make fun games. And like
Mhm.
let people have fun. Don't just like close all these studios and lay people off and
Oh,
restructure every
yeah.
single
So
time, you know?
something I wanted to say, isn't it refreshing that the bosses are getting fired instead of like thousands of devs for once or like a studio? Like, how refreshing is that?
Yeah.
I agree
Just on a
1,000%.
positive note.
Yeah.
Like,
After a bunch
'cause
of
I
studios got
think
closed, but yes, you know.
yeah, when Sarah Bond got that job, they just fired like 1,000 people, and then she had that like really shaky start. What was it? She was at that big event that starts with a B. I can't remember what it's called, but they were like, "Can you make a comment about all these people that just got fired?" And she like gave like a super wishy-washy statement, and she kind of just started out on the wrong foot and didn't make a strong statement about it.
Yeah, sorry for the constant jump scares with this
Yeah,
video.
no, it's just she
Yeah.
kind of rubbed people the wrong way, like off the bat, being like, what do you think about all these closures? And then kind of giving like a PR like answer, like a media trained answer. It's just
Yeah,
like,
and
ugh, I
it's
don't know.
I've had the unique predisposition to have worked with sea levels before and to like not to just toot my own horn over here or whatever, but I'm like still in the corporate trenches of stuff, and I don't want to be, but I am, and so like these are people. Right, with people with big
Mhm.
expectations. I get more frustrated I have a big frustration with public companies that have to do things because of board who's not involved
Yeah.
in the day-to-day decisions. I get more frustrated by the top, like the board of directors and us being beholden to that, because I think some of these people, they don't get the pass, they don't get whatever, but we do have to remember like they're not doing things with free reign here. Like they have
Yeah.
constraints and things that they have to do, and like just to set the tone on it all, we need to not scapegoat individual people. This is not Sarah Bond's unique issue and weight to carry. This is just as much Phil Spencer's, and this is just as much
Yeah.
the whole leadership team. I mean, this is 5 years of straying away from Xbox consoles and IP first stuff and straying towards a land grab of getting as much screens as possible on their ecosystem. I mean, they didn't buy
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard, which, by the way, another thing if y'all didn't know,
Yeah. She
largest
negotiated that.
largest acquisition of anything ever in history. It was like $4 billion to basically purchase half of the entire gaming industry worth of publishers and developers.
And Sarah Bond was the lead on that, as far as I understand.
Yeah, and so they
That was
didn't
like
they
her big
didn't
win.
do all of that in a vacuum. Like this is like there are a lot of people wrapped up in this. So yeah, if we can provide any context on this podcast, it's just let's cool it a little bit and like look at the nuance of everything and not just jump into the variety. The vast majority of people just want to play good games, and that's where I'm focused. Um, if they could just get back to that, the final thing I'll
Yeah.
say, this bit IGN says this a lot. I think Nintendo Voice Chat is another one that I listen to a lot. I liked it better when we didn't know about all these people and we just knew about the games. Like we know too
Yeah.
much about these
Yeah.
people, and it's actually kind of like the Reggie Fils-Aime era of Nintendo and all
Here
the
we go.
funny
Here
skits.
we go.
Those were funny and those were great. But it's kind of
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with us just having directs that are just telling us about games and we don't need to know all this inside stuff. You know?
And I
Yeah.
really
Like
wanted
I find it.
to go ahead, Glitch.
Oh no, it's okay. You go ahead. You haven't
Well,
really said
I
very
really
much yet.
wanted to, yeah, I really wanted to comment on Reggie in the industry because, like, obviously we didn't really know the people that were the execs in the industry. Now, imagine back then, Reggie came from being an executive for Panda Express. Now imagine the
forgot that.
discourse today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine the discourse today of like, oh, the new CEO of Nintendo of America is a guy from Panda Express. Now, granted, I do believe, with Asha Sarah Bond, there's definitely a double standard there that might not exactly reach the controversy that Reggie would to this day, but there's still going to be controversy of like, hey, like, why is Panda Express telling us how to run Nintendo? Now, I do think, granted, someone who's worked, I've worked entry level jobs, I've worked a lot of jobs like that, and I've worked my way up, in my personal career. I still think that somebody that's been on ground level is best fit to rise up to lead a company. Now, at the same time, Reggie, coming from multiple companies as an executive, did a great job. Another one I want to bring up, granted, this game is not out yet, and I don't want to dwell too much on this. I believe his name is Strauss Zelnick. He is the CEO of Take-Two. He's not a gamer. He is not involved in the coding programming process, but he says that, hey, I'm not the consumer in chief. I'm the CEO. I'm going to appoint the right people, the right developers, the right actors, all those people that are going to make the project perfect, and that's my job. And I feel like you could still be not from the games industry and kill it. And this applies to many different industries, but there's still going to be a doubt of like, hey, this person is not from here. They don't understand the ground level, and it's a reasonable doubt. I mean, can you really,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's such a way to navigate different industries that like I'm not doubtful, but I still have some
Well, and,
thoughts,
and
if
that's
that
why
makes
I
any
just want to
sense.
bring up Matt Booty, which is the chief content officer. So he's going to be working. I don't know what brain rot I'm looking at right now, but it is not what I had
Easy with the
clicked.
spider.
Um, the Oh, it's because this video is like super short. Just played something random. Anyway, Matt Booty's gonna be the chief content officer and is gonna be like kind of working with Asha Sharma to uh, like make sure that like I think this is the gamer side of the non-gamer CEO. Like this is going to be the Phil Spencer to Sarah Bond. So they are to some degree a little reverse, but whatever. This is going to be they are kind of doing that, so we'll see. I guess I'm just saying I'll be happy when we're away from all this and we can just talk about games because I think a lot of it is just sensationalized stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't like how this like landscape just devolves into like just scapegoating people as being an issue and just talking heads and all that. So anyway,
Plus, what really bothers me about this whole thing is the way that they're describing her in such a negative way. Like, you could describe Elon Musk the same way, and they say he's a genius, but she's problematic. Like, difficult to work with, doesn't like people questioning her vision. Like, that's basically every man CEO in the world. But for her, it's a problem, apparently.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just very icky,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, no, and I know all of us here, um, we're more focused on merit and talent and who you are,
Yeah.
and how your leadership is, and I think it's very easy in our modern day. Like we could come in here and just be talking all back and forth about just again the inner drama, but I think it's important to bring it up to 1,000-foot view and just be like, these are people making decisions, and
Yeah.
we need to make it our judgments
And
based on
what
the
really
merit.
sucks is I feel like they gave her that job specifically to fail almost. Like they knew she was going to fail. Like whether it was her fault or their fault,
Yeah,
like everybody knew there was a time limit on that and it really sucks,
and I don't
you
I
know?
don't know if we know enough to know that. I think there's speculation around that, but I just don't know if we'll
Yeah.
ever get that answer unless she decides to write a book or
And
something.
honestly, I don't think we need the
I
answer.
don't.
Like I don't think we should even care about that.
Yeah, I don't think so either, and that's not really like. Yeah, I'm more focused on like, okay, you made this decision. Let's see what you got because it really
Yeah.
feels like this is your last shot here, Xbox, to really make this
Yeah.
work. I kind of think it's either going to be they're either going to try this one more shot with another direction, or what I could see is that they dissolve Xbox and it's
Yeah, as a brand,
Microsoft
yeah.
Gaming, and they just focus on either publishing and they become another Sega, or they like it could just be that they're just interested in just owning the lion's share of these developers and publishers, and they just do everything third party. It could be that it could.
Yeah. So they might go the way
I
of Sega.
actually honestly think that's probably where we're headed, but we'll see. I don't
Well, I
I
feel
don't
like
think Xbox has the cachet that it used to. I just don't think people give a shit about Xbox anymore.
Steam is the new Xbox,
Yeah, Steam is doing
you
what
know,
Xbox
and
should have done. 100%.
yeah, no, it's
100%.
kind of too late for
100%.
Xbox.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's switch topics here, and let's talk a little bit about. Do we want to talk about Bluepoint?
Yep.
Again, this is in the same kind of vein here about like just the games industry is in a wild spot right now. Developer Bluepoint was acquired by Sony. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of drama with Xbox. Sony's not really been much better, to be honest with you. There's a lot there too.
Yeah.
So Sony acquired
Sony
this.
looks good because of Xbox.
Yeah. Well, Sony, this Xbox stuff covered up what happened with Bluepoint. So Sony acquired this studio Bluepoint, who basically is known for remaking modern versions of classic old games. So like they remade Shadow of the Colossus from the PS2. They did, I think, what was it, Demon Souls?
Yeah,
Um,
and it was basically a launch title for PS5, which, kind of puts more salt in the wound there.
yeah, Uncharted collection, and then the Metal Gear Solid first collection as well. Um,
Mhm.
if there was any studio that we thought would be, free of, running
Yeah.
into this issue, it was Bluepoint because it's pretty safe when you think about it. They're making remakes of classic games. They've done very well for PlayStation, and they closed them down.
And
So
they're pretty much the standard for remakes at this point. I don't think we would have a remake of Oblivion if we didn't have Bluepoint making that trendy, and showing that it can be done and it can be done well.
yeah,
And they
it's
brought so many games to life. Like Shadow of the Colossus is one of the most visually stunning games for the PlayStation 2. Like, if you look at it playing on a native PS2, you're going to say, this is not a PS2. And they brought it back twice, actually, with the Ico Shadow of the Colossus collection. And again, with the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which is near and dear to my heart, they even improved on some of the games, especially with the
Mhm.
Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker being a PSP exclusive. Now, how do you make that HD and work on, well, the Xbox 360? Well, guess what? Bluepoint made it work, and Bluepoint made
Yeah.
it fantastic. To the point that we are getting the Metal Gear Solid um we're getting Peace Walker soon, and it's the Bluepoint version. It's literally the Bluepoint
Yeah.
version, but they're putting Bluepoint out of business, which makes no sense, and it's really disheartening. And I feel like
Yeah.
it really sucks to say that the games industry, well, industries as a whole, but the game industry right now, when you have something like layoffs looming over your head, it's very disheartening. It ruins morale and it increases stress. This is group and occupational stress in the workplace. And when you know that you're killing it, you're doing a great job, everybody has your back. But some execs are just like, no, we spent our money wrong or whatever's going wrong. You guys are out of business now. It sucks. And it's nice to
Yeah.
know that, the people from these studios could go elsewhere and absolutely kill it. But it's like, why can't we just let them kill it now? The way they've been doing it, the
Yeah.
way that we've respected, trusted. Again, we might not know the official decisions right now or ever, but it's really disheartening because this kind of like annoyance, irritation, stress is now falling on the consumer. And if the consumer is
Yeah.
able to recognize it, something is very, very wrong here. But this is also an industry-wide problem, unfortunately.
yeah, and I
And the
think
thing that makes it extra tragic for me is they were the favorite studio to remake Bloodborne like after Demon Souls. Like I would say Demon Souls arguably looks better than Elden Ring even.
they
But
could have been
yeah,
working
everybody
on it.
thought that they were going to give
They could have been
Yeah,
working on it. That's the
exactly. And
thing.
that's what sucks.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't get announced. Like everybody was like, if there's going to be a Bloodborne remake, it's going to be Bluepoint after, they showed they could do Demon Souls.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, yeah,
and
that
so
sucks.
here's my take on it and how I think we funnel it. Not that we're straying away from talking about dour news here, but just in the way of like I think the unique context that we can kind of offer is like where does this go, right? And so this is what I see. I see that kind of with a lot of things. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think there's just a lot of that going on right now. I think what we're seeing is just some context I found interesting. Video games is a maturing industry. I think a lot of people don't realize this,
Yeah.
but it's only really matured as an industry. It's honestly kind of happening now. Like it's what we're witnessing is COVID accelerating the desire for a bunch of people that don't know anything about games to get involved in the games industry and pump a bunch of money because they think they can make a lot of games. And what that caused is a lot of people that know nothing about what gamers want trying to figure out what gamers want, right? And so what we're seeing now is the fallout of that. We're seeing a bunch of bad decisions that were made. Sony made a huge push into free-to-play multiplayer game space, crashed and burned very badly. You're just seeing these big companies Concord, yeah. You're seeing a lot of these big companies realize the error of their ways now. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have there's probably going to be a little more years of this course correcting. And I think, honestly, a lot of investors are going to get bored of this space. They're going to see it as like a space they can make money, but not like tons and tons and tons of money like you could make during COVID. COVID was just an exception because everybody was home, right? And what I think you're going to see is I do think we're going to get back to this kind of like more clear budget, more clear, concise stories and like games that can get made more quickly because the development times of 5, 6, 7 years are just nuts. So I do think we're going to get back to a place where it's going to be reasonable. And then I also think the people of these studios that get laid off, like games are a passion, that we're going to see more Expedition 33s. We're going to see more studios.
I was going to say, it's going to be a change of guard.
Yes.
Like, it's going to be indie companies are getting bigger, like Larian and the Expedition 33 people. I feel like people are seeing that these small companies are giving us what we actually want and actually listening to us, and they're going to get bigger. And like, the old days of BioWare and Bethesda are kind of ending at this point because they do not want to listen to us. I just saw an interview with Todd Howard saying, yeah, you know what? We're not really going to change anything. People know what they like and they like what we do. And we're just going to do the same thing again. And like they've been doing the same thing for 20 years and we're getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a bummer. There's a lot of shakeup happening in the industry. People are, game studios are getting closed. People are getting laid off all the time. But I think it is a course correction. And again, this is a passion industry. People that are gamers and want to make games are going to find ways to do so. And there's more tools than ever to do that. So I feel very optimistic that this is going to course correct. It's just, unfortunately, the headlines for a while are going to be more of this. I wish I could say that this was it, but it's just a constant thing right now. So
I know that Iron Lung is a movie, but I think we're going to see a lot of Iron Lungs in video games soon.
Yeah,
like people making their own games and not having big
give context to that again. So Markiplier is a YouTuber streamer that made a game.
Oh yeah, he's a YouTuber, and he basically was like, he played Iron Lung, and he was like, I love this, and it should be a movie. And he basically paid for it. He directed it. He wrote it. He got the guy who made the game involved. They spent $3 million on it. And they didn't do it through a studio or anything. And basically, it was supposed to be in like, I don't know, 60 theaters or something. And then his fans did like a grassroots campaign and called all of their local theaters and said, hey, can you run Iron Lung? We want to watch it. And then it's in thousands of theaters.
13x its budget. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think the last I saw, he made 40 million now. And the thing that I love that he said that makes me want to support him even more and go see the movie again. He said, it's so great that we made this much money because I can give everybody bonuses. And Netflix would not do that. Like, they don't even want to give people raises after having a successful season 1.
What?
Yeah, and it boosts morale.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the beauty of this. Like I'm an eternal optimist here. I'm like optimistic nihilism. That's what I call it. It's like everything sucks and everything is great at the same time. They can exist, right? So I think that we're just going to see more and more creative control is going to go back into the people, and people are just going to start doing things. There's kind of an equilibrium with the information and tools available in a way that there never has. Like any of us, as of like 5 years ago, like iPhone technology hit a place where like you can shoot a fully feature length movie with your phone. Like we're at that point now where like we're just it's the same way that I think information kind of equalized with the internet. I think we're going to see that with technology. And that can go into a whole AI conversation too, which we won't have here, but there's an equilibrium happening with technology, and that's where I'm optimistic. I think that we're going to see more successes like this. I think this isn't a one-off. I think this is a vision of the future, I think, which is very cool. Very, very cool.
Plus, to bring it back to being positive, the worse things get, the better we realize things can be.
100%. 100%. Well,
Yep.
let's segue over to the best thing that there ever can be. That was good, right? Pokemon Day is on Friday, and your resident Pokemon freak over here is jumping for
Pokemon.
joy. There's a lot of discourse around Pokemon, but I ignore all of it, and Pokemon is my happy place. It's my place to go. Say what you will about any of the games running the way they do, or whether you like this one or that one. There's never been a Pokemon game I've played that I haven't enjoyed. I'm very, very excited for Generation 10. This is going to be Pokemon's 30th anniversary, which is a big deal. I'm excited because this is the longest thing I've ever been a part of in my life. I mean, Pokemon has spanned my entire life. I played it Pokemon Red on my Game Boy when I was probably 6 years old, and I'm gonna play this. I'll just play, I'm quiet in the background, but this Pokemon Champions trailer really is what sticks with me, which I'm really excited to see what this is all about. But I don't know if y'all have seen
I would like
this.
to share the experience I had
Go for
regarding
it.
Pokemon.
Go for it.
Yeah, so it was within the last recent week or two. I got home from work. It was pretty late, and I see some screenshots shared on social media that, and granted, a few weeks prior, heard some leak that Leaf Green and Fire Red are coming to Switch. Now it was a take it with a grain of salt leak. And I get home from work. I'm tired. I'm like, oh, what a long day. And, am I hallucinating this? I'm seeing screenshots of Leaf Green and Fire Red on Switch. I'm like, no, 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 that can't be true. That can't be true. And then, well, Cerebi, if anybody's familiar with Cerebi, Cerebi is a website that has been covering Pokemon content since forever.
Joe
I remember being a
Cerebi.
young kid.
Go
Yeah,
Joe.
shout out to
This
Cerebi.
I just
Thank you
want
for
to
everything you've
I just
done.
want to shout out. This is one person. I don't know if you know this. Joe Cerebi single-handedly runs this site and updates
Yes.
everything. This is like one individual that does this and has been for like, I don't know, 20 years now. So just wanted to shout
I,
out.
I remember looking at Cerebi leaks back from like 2004 for Pokemon Coliseum. So yeah, massive props to him. So we look at Cerebi and I'm just like, oh my God, are these real? This can't be real, right? Within about 2 hours, Nintendo then drops the official announcement by first putting it on the Switch eShop that Leaf Green and Fire Red are on the eShop. And then they announced a trailer. The trailer was hype. Now obviously we are going to watch the Pokemon Direct as a whole, the three of us, when it happens. But I was just like, huh, it's funny that they are announcing it the same. It's coming out the same day after the Direct, but this feels like they only announced it because of a leak. Now, do any of you guys have any information if that's confirmed a leak or if it was planned that way? Because I think it was a legit leak.
So
I
yeah,
think it was.
Pokemon is I don't even know. It's probably one of the most like leaked like franchises ever at this point. There was a huge Terra leak which released a lot of data. We have actually a lot of data on what Gen 10 is shaping up to be. I don't
Yeah, I heard a rumor about that.
I don't know that we want to make this into a leaks cast here. I mean, I can share a little bit, but I kind of like I like the integrity of I like people to kind of choose themselves if they want to know things the way that they were intended, right? Like art is intended in a certain way, so I won't go too deep into that, but I do think the understanding is that this direct on Friday is supposed to be out 40 minutes and it's now about 25 minutes. Now, I don't know if that's true or
Mhm.
not. It seems very odd that the Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, these are the Game Boy Advance remakes of the original first gen. Feels very odd to me that these would be dropped on a random day a week before the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. This feels like it would have been
Well,
a shadow drop at the end of the direct on Friday, and they
to be
dropped them
positive, I
early.
feel like that means they've got something big left over that they could just be like, oh,
I,
well, whatever,
Oh
let's
yeah.
just do
well,
another
what's big
stupid
is
little
Oh
thing.
yes. And that's what I was
what's
kind
big
of
is Gen 10. That's what this is going to be.
yeah.
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 And that's what I was trying to hint at. I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to be like, negative about it. Because keep in mind, Leaf Green and Fire Red, I could say that Everyone liked that. Yeah, sorry to plug our own podcast. But you got to realize that this is still great news regardless.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we are now, this is crazy that it's a 22-year-old game, a remake of Gen 1. Regardless if it's a leak or not, this is fucking fantastic. Excuse my language. Bleep me out with a Pokemon noise if you want to. Whoever
Pika.
is.
Pika. Pika.
There we go. So like this is still great news regardless. Like I'm still excited whether we were supposed to get this news or not. This is still exciting. And of course we got Pokopia coming out. Now another thing I wanted to mention too is that the Nintendo Treehouse came out today and showed a lot of Pokopia. Now, Lim, I would like to call out Lim because Lim has called me out. Now I am, like I said in the intro to this show.
Let me context really quick. So Pokopia is a Minecraft-ish, Animal Crossing-ish type crafting game that's coming out on the 5th of March. It's I just wanted to, it's a game that's coming out in about a week. We already know about it. It's coming out. Continue. Pokopia.
Yes. I don't expect to see too much coverage during their direct because we saw a lot today actually. Now Lim has said, "Hey, who's getting Pokopia?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Steven, you're probably gonna get it." No.
Yes, you are. You're gonna get it because it's open server, so it's persistent. You don't have to be on to play. You can play in each other's towns and help each other advance your towns. And it's cute as shit. Come on, look at this.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that Ditto's getting some love.
Yeah, so you're a Ditto. That the thinking. So my understanding is this is Kanto. So it's based in the Kanto region, and it's some kind of post-apocalyptic things going on here.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of
that face looks apocalyptic.
There's rumors here because the professor in this is a Tangrowth. If you remember from the original gens, anybody who remembers, just south of Pallet Town, there's a patch of grass, and it's the only place you can catch a Tangela. So there's a little bit of a thinking of what if a Tangela walked into Professor Oak's lab, evolved or something. Tangrowth is a later, they gave Tangela evolution way later in Pokemon. So Tangrowth isn't an old Pokemon, but Tangela is. There's some kind of, play on that a little bit. Also, like, what if, there's some involvement with like Red in the original Red's Pokemon. There's also a Snorlax that's showing up in this. There's this variation of a Snorlax and a variation of a Pikachu. Pikachu that's like lost its electricity and is like a ghost. It's called Pikachu.
Yeah, that
so
looks so cute.
There's some. What if they're playing around with like Red or these Reds like lost Pokemon or something? There's something going on here that's going to tie into Kanto.
So what I heard,
curious.
A rumor is that somebody said, "What if?" Because all the people are gone, right? That they think that the Ditto has morphed into who their trainer was.
Right. Because you're basically this is a Ditto. You're seeing footage now from the treehouse today. This human-esque character, is a Ditto that is embodied a trainer, and then can use.
So maybe their trainer died.
Yeah.
And now they became that person.
Can use
Which explain why the
powers.
character looks so terrifying.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy.
Well, because the Ditto's idea of what a human.
But
is.
I kind of like it. Guys, like I kind of like the vibe of this. There's something like dark about it that's also cute.
Yeah.
Like I like the vibe of it. The art style's good.
No.
Switch to exclusive so we know it's going to run right, and it's co-op. Like I'm fucking with this pretty heavy.
So
I
wanted
to say earlier. Isn't it really freaking cool that there's some babies out there right now that have not played Pokemon yet that are gonna get to play Pokemon for the first time with Red and Green,
absolutely,
or Leaf and Fire or whatever, and they're gonna become nerds.
That's why I love
the next generation of nerds.
That's why I love Pokemon so much, because it's like I've been like this has been my whole life, and it's still it's bigger than it ever was, and it's something that is just about fun, cute characters. Like how few things do we have like that in life these days,
And how hard is it to find carts nowadays as a new player of games?
Yeah. So,
and I think that's just great.
Steven, you go ahead. You were going to say something too?
Yeah, so like I said, I introduced myself as a cozy game aficionado, and I've been a initial hater of the concept of this game, but after watching the Treehouse that just released, I know, I see you, Lim. I'm appealing to you, Mr. Lim. The gameplay mechanics. Now, the gameplay mechanics does, it has the same crafting system like Animal Crossing, yet the same kind of block system as Minecraft. And those have always really gone well with me. I like it a lot. But the thing, Lim, I don't know if you've heard it yet. When I was listening to the introduction music to when you're first getting started on this, I don't know, Pokopia Island, whatever it is, it really sounds like the music from like Animal Crossing Wild World or City Folk. And like
Oh,
it
yeah.
struck
I actually
such a
haven't
note with
watched this.
me.
It's my first time watching this, so I didn't know that.
I, yeah, no, the music sounds like the introduction to like Wild World or City Folk, and I'm just like, okay, that struck a very specific note with me, and I'm interested. And I actually think this is, I was not expecting this game to do well, but the mechanics themselves, gameplay
Well,
wise, are amazing,
well, this is
and I really think it's great.
and here's why. This is a different. So if anybody wants to get a sense of even if they remotely like this game, go to the Switch eShop and download the Dragon Quest Builders 2 demo. It's a very big demo actually. This is made by the same team. It has the same kind of blocky look. Almost looks like a nicer Minecraft. It's not really that. It's got aspects of that, but what this game is people keep comparing to Viva Pinata. I never played that, but basically you're building an ecosystem that is friendly to Pokemon that is attracting them to your village. So it's attracting Pokemon in based on things you're doing. So you're tending to a garden, you're building a garden which is making, I don't know, grass Pokemon show up. You build a little punching bag and a Hitmonchan shows up. You're like kind of like you're building a village, but it's also bringing in new Pokemon, which is then teaching you new powers because you're a Ditto and you can use power. So it's not. I think a lot of people are going to have an idea of what they think this game is. It's not Animal Crossing. It's not Stardew. It's not Minecraft. It is very much its own thing. And I also like that it's by the Dragon Quest people because Dragon Quest is a franchise that is, if anything, very respectful of its history and its lineage. Like if you look at these Dragon Quest games, they're very thoughtfully done in a way that pays tribute to the history of those games and remaking them for a modern audience. So I think there's something about this game that feels like I think they're really going to do their due diligence in making it the Pokemon lore part of it be integral as well. And I think it's really cool to see a new studio do that because we haven't seen that in a while, you know?
Something just occurred to me that I think Steven is gonna love.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so post-apocalyptic, right? And there's Pokemon kind of acting like people. This is reminding me of Stray.
I was
So
thinking
all
that the
these
whole time.
Pokemon,
The whole
yeah, they're
time.
like the robots that are like trying to keep
Ah.
humanity alive by acting like people.
I would
Like,
love the aspect of like this having a much darker meaning the whole time. Like again, like as an Earthbound fan, it starts off so bright and happy,
Well,
and then it gets
Nintendo used to do
extremely
that
dark and
more.
twisted.
Nintendo used to do that more. I
Yeah,
mean, we also like look at Kirby. I mean, Kirby, the recent Kirby is all set in a
0 and 0
post-apocalyptic
2.
world, and even that was more cutesy than it was. But it got pretty like I don't even finish that game. I actually just finished it recently because I never finished it. I got the Switch 2 updated version. That ending was like crazy. Like there's some crazy like alien shit in that. Like it's pretty wild. But what I think Nintendo's lost a little bit is this like offbeat, quirky darkness that even like some of the
Yes.
old Kirby games had. Some of the old, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's a lot of that in old
well,
Nintendo.
like Animal Crossing lost its
Yeah,
edge,
exactly.
as you'd
Animal
say,
Crossing,
quite
100%,
often.
100%. This
Yeah.
feels like it's giving us a little bit of that we haven't seen in a while, and there's something about this. It just makes me excited. But either way, I'd be buying it anyway. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so I'm excited.
You are
So
making
from what I'm
a
understanding,
Pokopia village. Sorry, I have to make the point. You're making a
yeah,
Pokopia
no worries.
village. Meanwhile, your face is scarier than Resident Evil Village. Make it
I
make
don't know about
sense.
that. I don't know about that. It's not
I am
bad.
So if
terrified.
if the Stray vibes that I'm catching are accurate, like basically this game might be celebrating like humanity and trying to keep humanity alive through
Yeah,
Pokemon.
I don't look at this
Yeah,
face. That
and that's
face
great.
isn't scarier than Resident
this is
Evil. Oh,
terrifying.
come
I
on.
I
It's
don't
just a
like
little
this.
dingus. That's a Ditto face on a person.
That's cute. Come
Yeah,
on.
Like
it
that's why. Okay,
scares
so
me.
Ditto is historically one of my favorite Pokemon. So I love that it's getting some
Well,
love,
let's do it. We're
and
gonna do
that's Ditto
we're
face.
gonna do an aside here since we got Pokemon's 30th anniversary. It's a good segue. I want
There we go.
each of you. We're gonna go around. We'll go around twice, and I want you to just top of mind. Don't you just what are some of your favorite Pokemon of all time?
Blastoise.
Blastoise. Why?
He's cool.
Good
He
answer.
shoots water.
Good answer though. Or did you play? What is your closest like Pokemon game association? Like what game did you play the most?
It's hard to say which game I played the most. Now, obviously for me it was Gen
Like were you like
3.
this? Did you play the Game Boy with the OG games, or were you later?
On a relative's Game Boy. Now, I didn't have my own until Hoenn Sapphire is what I had. I think one that I know we're going to get sometime soon, and I hopefully gets announced, is Pokemon Coliseum. I think Pokemon Coliseum was absolutely fantastic. I love that you could hook up your Game Boy Advance to the actual console, the GameCube, and also that, like, to put in Blastoise into perspective, I loved playing my Leaf Green Blastoise using Hydro Pump. But then that same Blastoise, who's still your same Blastoise from the Leaf Green, put it on the big screen, the GameCube. When you use Hydro Pump, he actually takes his cannons out and Hydro Pumps the other Pokemon. Now, back then, in the good old year of 2004, 2005, that was mind blowing, and I loved it. So look at that guy. Look at that guy
Yeah,
right
the
there.
Gen 3 sprites are so good. Yeah, Gen 3, I'm excited because Gen 3 is my favorite gen. So Game Boy Advance would have
Yeah.
been Leaf Green, Fire Red, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and this would have been like this is when I was the most, conscious as a human and had the most time playing one singular Pokemon game was this generation. So I'm very excited. The sprite work is fantastic. It's so good. It's the best of the OG like 2D sprite artwork games in terms of like I don't know. It just has like a really good. I'm excited for people who are going to play Fire Red Leaf Green for the first time because this is the best interpretation of the OG Kanto games. So
I think I would agree.
yeah
I would agree.
yeah
The
yeah
only thing I would say is even better is well, Kanto and Johto.
yeah. Heart Gold and Soul Silver is very very good. But there's something about Fire Red Leaf Green and it just being that you get to play that whole original experience, and then there's a whole other layer of these islands. Plus, you can like transfer and trade over Pokemon from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, which I hope they end up allowing us to do. Not holding my breath, but I'm hoping they put those games out as well so that we can move
Yes, I'm
stuff
hopeful for
around.
that. Very hopeful.
But great choice. I was a Squirtle Squad Blastoise stand. I
Wow.
remember. I know the exact moment that my Blastoise would always evolve right when I came out of Rock Tunnel, just before Lavender Town in the OG Pokemon Red.
Wow.
It would at level 36. You come out of that tunnel, it evolves into Blastoise. I remember it like it was yesterday. I have that entire game. I could get through Rock Tunnel in the dark without using flash to light up the cave. Like I know every inch of that game. So
Oh, that's impressive.
every inch
So
of that
you're
game.
like to
I know how to
Pokemon as I am to Final
I
Fantasy
know how to
7.
glitch I know how to. Yeah, exactly. 100%. I know how to glitch that entire game to get any Pokemon you want without any outside shit. Like I know how to like.
Jesus,
I know that game in and out. So there's my
that's
nerdiness for you.
crazy.
Yeah, I love those games. I love these games. So, glitch. What about you? What's one of your favorite Pokemon?
Well, besides Ditto, I like Dragonite. It's derpy. It flies faster than the speed of sound, and it also likes to rescue people.
It's also a cheater.
And it's a dragon.
It's also a cheater. Lance's
A
Dragonite
cheater?
in Gen 1 can use a move that it cannot learn. So it's historically
Okay.
a cheater. It learns barrier, I think, which like reduces its damage that it takes. Anyway, Dragonite is awesome, and I agree. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
like Dragonite.
What do you
I
thi-
do agree with the fact that I think that Giovanni is the greatest Pokemon trainer of all time. I
Giovanni
know
is
most will disagree.
Giovanni is goaded. No, Giovanni
Yep.
is sick. Is very
Yeah.
very
It's
sick.
got style.
I think he should be in the
The
next Smash
hell is
Brothers
this?
as a
Is this Dragonite interpreted as a real
the
creature?
the heck? No,
That's horrific.
put that away. There's people here, man.
Oh, sorry everybody. Sorry. Here.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
watch out for this fan
Oh,
art.
oh,
Yeah,
Don't be
dude.
looking up for Porygon.
sorry. Oh, oh, oh,
Oh my god.
sorry.
His name is Chavez. Oh,
Um,
okay, well,
Sick. I would say I mean, I think y'all know mine, but Lapras is my
Yeah, I
OG.
know your favorite Pokemon. Yeah.
Lapras is just my favorite.
I like Lapras.
Also, you know what? I'm realizing now, Steven, I think this might be a little bit because of Nessie from Earthbound,
you know what?
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I discovered Nessie after, but yeah, they're very similar.
Different colors,
Yeah.
but both Loch Ness monster. So
Same
If
kind of
so, for
dinosaur.
the viewers at home who might not know this, we do have a, it's mostly through friends, but I really like recreating NES and SNES sprites in Minecraft. It picks my brain. So in Lim's personal island, like this Animal Crossing, in Lim's personal Minecraft server, I just randomly built a ginormous Nessie busting out of the water, and some of you guys got to see that live, and that was such a great reaction. I don't know if we can pull some footage of
Yeah,
it
I
or
don't
if
have
I
it
can
with
pull
me,
some.
but I have a time lapse of it somewhere. I'll pull it out. But yeah, yes,
Yeah, like
Steven
it
went to
was one
town.
of my funnest projects to make, and it's really just copying. Each block is one sprite, and that was amazing. But yeah, if you want to pick my brain on that, that's just how my brain works. I love doing
They're both
stuff like that.
plesiosaurs.
That is the
They're both
really.
what?
They're both plesiosaurs.
Oh, plus yeah.
Sorry, I used to be a dinosaur nerd also when I was young. I
Oh,
wanted to be a
dang. We're
paleontologist.
learning so much about each other. This is crazy.
Yeah, okay, so friends actually turned me off of that because Ross was such a dingus. I was like, it's not cool being a paleontologist. So I
It's super
stopped
sick.
wanting to do it.
It's super sick. I
Yeah,
think it's
because I
awesome.
hated Ross. But yeah, they're both plesiosaurs.
Okay. All right.
What
Okay.
is the similar character in Mario 64?
Yeah,
Talk
Oh
about
yeah,
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 this.
there's
yeah,
one
yeah,
in
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah,
There's a big Loch Ness monster there too. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Okay, so let's talk about predictions. I know this may be a little more in mine and Steven's wheelhouse. I know you're not the Pokemon resident here, Glitch, but uh, what do we think about predictions? I mean, I think we're gonna see Gen 10.
Heard rumors.
I cannot imagine a world where we don't see Gen 10. I mean, I literally think that people would riot. Like, I don't even know
So
what
So the
else to
scuttlebutt that
say.
I'm hearing is that it's going to be set in Greece and it's going to be called Wind
yes.
and Waves or something.
Yeah, and I guess yeah, we can. Uh, there's some.
Sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. We didn't really talk about this beforehand. Like I would say, I mean, I kind of gave a little mention of it earlier. Like if you're somebody who's a purist and just wants to know, kind of going into it, like
It wasn't like a leak from anybody. It was just somebody
all of
saying
this
things.
could be wrong, but there was a
Yeah, it probably is
large
wrong.
there was a large leak that happened. Somebody actually like broke into Pokemon Company's files and leaked
Like,
Oh,
like
I didn't know
a
that.
ton of information. There's like a beta build of like Gen 10 out there. But
Oh,
this is stuff from like, 2 years ago. And what we know about I'm pretty deep in this. Shout out Hidden Power Podcast. So it's like shouting out podcasts, but they go extensively into this and we know about the Pokemon Company that things change, and they also listen to people more than ever before because Pokemon is such an expensive franchise, and so much
yes.
of the machine of Pokemon is built around a singular engine, meaning game design is decided, the show has to be built, the cards have to be built, it's a machine, right? So when they're developing these games, they're very, very dialed into what people are saying, what people are doing. They will change Pokemon designs like after leaks. They've done this before because the past like 3 games have been leaked to some degree, and things have come
was that
out.
actually a leak? I thought it was
It,
just some
it's
guy
it's
nerding
it,
out,
it's
but get
actually
making guesses about
no,
stuff.
it's actually a leak. It's gonna be.
Oh, I
I
didn't know
mean,
that.
it could like Wind and Waves is written on documents from Pokemon headquarters.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't know that. The
Yes.
way they
really?
talked about
Yes.
it, it was
No,
just like
this is
tinfoil
like this
hat
no no
theories.
no. This is like the largest leak that's ever happened for Pokemon. Like
Oh, I had no idea.
personal files from the company. So there are leaks that are out there. However, it could be a variation of that. Or there could be
Yeah.
a world where they did change it entirely. That is possible. But these are things that are out there from documents from like 2 or 3 years ago when they started development. So take that with a grain of salt. But yes, the general idea is that this is a series of islands. It's an island hopping adventure. Wind and waves. There's big centering around weather. The idea of the gimmick being weather related moves, like more so than just it's raining, so your water moves are powered up, but like moves do different things entirely in different types of weather. There's talks about that. And the other talk is that each island is representative of a different region from all of the games. So those,
Oh, that's wow.
and it's Indonesian island. It's not Greece. Greece was the original thought because of the way it was laid out. It's not actually Greece. It's like Indonesia, parts of Australia, parts of like It's like a chain of islands basically that bleeds into some other different things. But that's the premise.
Oh, I had that thing.
That's the idea. So
I feel like either or concept would be absolutely rad. I feel like these are uncharted territories that the Pokemon,
I mean,
franchise is not
Sun
really
and
shown.
Sun and Moon did islands, and Sun and Moon did change up. I don't know if y'all played Sun and Moon, but Sun and Moon got rid of
Yes.
gyms altogether, and they were like trials, and it was based on islands. But this is different. This is going to be like
Well, we
Yeah.
we haven't seen like a Mediterranean if it does go the Greek route. We haven't seen that. We also haven't seen one go like
Yeah.
Indonesian, Australian. I feel
100%.
like these are again parts of the world that we would love to see and love to explore that we
Yes.
haven't before. Like I feel like either
It'd be
or
really
would
cool.
be awesome.
Sorry.
yeah.
I was gonna say if each like quote unquote gym was a different country, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And I think that's somewhat the idea. So just be wary out there, y'all. Like, we don't know when these games are going to come out. I'd be shocked if it wasn't this year. I'm going to guess probably like the fall or something. The leaks that are
would
out
also
there,
guess fall.
take everything with a grain of salt. But there was actually a very large leak, and a lot of this stuff was like written on documents somewhere. But we know, and I know this just from the podcast I listen to because I'm pretty deep in this stuff. Like we know that Pokemon Company does listen and does change things. Like for example, ZA was entirely data mined before it came out. Like there were people playing builds of the game before it went live, but nobody knew anything about Mega Raichu and all the DLC. Despite the leaks, that was entirely new and nobody expected that. So Pokemon Company does like change things and add things to throw people off. They know what's going on out there. So take it all with a grain of salt. But yeah, we should see Gen 10. I would think that was the basis of all of this. I do think that the one last thing Shadow Drop was going to be Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think it got leaked, and I think they wanted control of the narrative of that. The one thing that was in there initially was that there's Pokemon Home support. Why that is important is because Pokemon Home is a mobile app that allows you to trade up your Pokemon from every generation. Now, some of it's convoluted, but you can get, and I've done this, I have a Mew from Generation 1 in my Scarlet and Violet Switch game with the original trainer ID and the Pokemon symbol. That is possible today. It's complicated, but it is possible. Pokemon Home makes that possible, so it allows you to trade Pokemon up from all of your games to have them in one place. Now, Fire Red and Leaf Green having Pokemon Home support is a big deal because you can now effectively get these Gen 1 Pokemon much, much easier into newer games. To do it with the old games, you need like a modded 3DS, playing the Virtual Console versions of the original Pokemon games. It's a whole thing. So it's kind of why it's important is it's making these old games current. It's making people talk about them again, and it's bringing these games to more people. Because if you go to the secondhand market and try to buy Pokemon Leaf Green Fire Red, it's like $80 to $100.
It's more than that.
And that's if you go somewhere that's fair.
And that's
Yeah, exactly.
that's ridiculous because people should be able to play these games. I mean, these are the OG
Yeah.
like these are the best versions of the OG games. This is the definitive way to play them.
And it also goes to show that you can also like import your Pokemon Coliseum and XD games, your Pokemon from those games to your like Game Boy Advance to the DS. Like we want to see those again.
Yeah.
Now one of my biggest feats, and again, a stroke of absolute pure luck out of devastation is Pokemon Emerald. I was trying to catch Groudon. I exhausted every single Pokeball that I had until I was down to my dive balls. A dive ball is a ball for catching Pokemon underwater. It does not do well on ground or fire. I caught Groudon with a dive ball.
Wow.
And the funniest thing about the dive ball is that when your Pokemon gets released from the dive ball, little bubbles float around. So my Groudon comes out
yeah.
with a bunch of little bubbles all over the place. I'm like, you know what? I would love to transfer that to the next generation because I did that.
Yeah, and that's one thing
Gonna
that's one thing
break the game
that's
somehow.
one thing that I miss. This is actually an important topic because so much of Pokemon is about got to catch them all, trade them up, have them. I never did that. Again, I've had a patience issue my whole life and just I never held on to things. But some people, I mean, they are rocking with their teams, like just like you said, Steven, through the ages, and that's pretty sick. And now this is possible for a new generation of people, and it's probably possible for me. Like I'm thinking about like these games come out on Friday. Yeah, I could emulate them or whatever, allegedly, but Now I can have them on the Switch, play them on my TV, and I think what's most important is I can trade them up now. Like now I'm starting to think about what could I do to like create my team of 6 to have that experience I didn't have as a kid where I could take those to Generation 10 and start Gen 10
Exactly.
with the Pokemon from the original Gen 1 games. How cool is that, right? So I think that's what a
So
lot of
back
people
to-
are missing in the shuffle is like, yeah, these games are $20, these old games, but like now they're current again, you know?
So for Steven, wouldn't that make it even more awesome if they do announce a Coliseum game and you can take
Well, they
the
do.
Pokemon from all
They-
the
they
games?
So
already- yeah.
Coliseum.
Well, I mean, like a new one,
oh,
Oh, I would.
like that would have
Well-
leaf green and
yeah.
like that you could take
Well,
those ones.
so that gets a little complicated. So Coliseum and Gale of Darkness were made by like different teams. They weren't even intended to be
Yeah.
Pokemon games. They got reskinned basically. Those are coming to the Virtual Console. We know that because or NSO because they've already announced it. That's the other thing. For a prediction for Friday, I would assume we're finally going to get those dropped. I almost think
Yes,
they're going to
and I
shadow
would
drop.
love that.
I almost think they're going to shadow drop those in lieu of the Leaf Green situation. Like I almost wonder. I hope they will. If they just say they're out now, that would be amazing. They've already
Yeah,
they've already
it would
told
be
us they're coming. We know that. They had publicly
It'd be
announced
a
that.
little. Yeah, it'd be a little weird to see an NSO game with a GameCube Coliseum interact with a standalone version of Fire Red Leaf Green. Hey, if they make it work, by all means,
I don't
we would
think-
love that.
I
I
don't-
think everybody would love that.
I don't think it'll happen. I think it'll
I
be
just
a
feel like they should have a new product for that.
Well, they
to be
do.
exciting.
They do. So Pokemon, I was playing footage of it earlier, and I can bring it back. 1 second, I wanted to see. Were you playing Emerald, Steven? When you caught the dive ball,
I played-
Groudon?
Yes, that was during Emerald.
I want to
yes.
give you the percentage of that happening. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Was it at 1 HP and asleep? There's a 6.25% chance you catch it in a dive ball, and that's at 1% and asleep. So it's pretty impressive.
I can't remember what state it was in. I definitely knew to make it paralyzed or something. However, you got to realize I used all the Pokeballs in my inventory, and I was down to the die balls, and it worked.
I was just wanted to let you know that that is that's not
That's
that's a
amazing.
difficult RNG there for you. So for anybody else isn't aware, okay, so there's a lot of, I mean, again, we could make this a whole Pokemon podcast, but this stuff's important because Pokemon is a big deal. Like I just want to clarify again, Mr. Context over here, okay? There is no franchise in the world of human history that makes more than Pokemon. I want to rationalize this for everybody, okay? So
Highest grossing
we're
franchise
talking
of all time.
we're talking like over $1 billion, and the next closest is either Mickey Mouse or Hello Kitty with like $500 million.
Mhm.
Like it's like leagues beyond anything and continuing to grow. Like this is like the GTA 6 of franchises. Like in terms of like it moves, things move for Pokemon, okay? So this is why this is important to know. So Pokemon is going, there's kind of an all-out thing happening now where like Pokemon for a long time was just let's make a good game, let's make a good show, let's make a good movie. But it has evolved beyond, and now what we're seeing is that nostalgia sells. We're also reaching now the people that were kids playing this game are adults buying it for their kids. So Pokemon Company and Nintendo are trying to ensure that there's an ecosystem here that's readily available for everyone, right? One of those ecosystems is the VGC, the competitive Pokemon battling space. There is a tournament called Worlds that happens every year. This past year it was in San Francisco. Or Anaheim, I think. Sometimes it's in other countries, where everybody comes together and there's about 5 different quote-unquote esports tournaments, trading cards, actual Pokemon game battling, Pokemon Unite, which is their League of Legends like, and I think Pocket had something this year. Anyway, but it's been played on janky hardware. Like it was pretty embarrassing. Like they were playing Scarlet and Violet on a Switch 1, which ran like crap. And like it wasn't standardized. So what Pokemon has done is this trailer I played about 17 times. This is the reveal of Pokemon Champions, and what it's doing is it is preserving turn-based battles that have historically been the main way you play competitive game battling, the OG turn-based. That's what this is going to be, and it's Switch and mobile phones. This is the first time it's something that's on both like that, okay? And this is the format for the competitive battling tournament. what the thought is, hopefully this is interesting to everyone. I feel like I'm going on a spiel here, but why it's important is that for the first time ever, Pokemon diverged from its original turn-based format with Pokemon ZA and actually did like an action battle system. And there's been a lot of experimenting that Pokemon's done over the past couple years. So the thinking is that Gen 10 may have a brand new system that may set the tone for what Pokemon is going forward to entice more people who don't like the slow, boring turn-based format. And that
I agree.
and that Champions is the home. If you like that, that's what this is. And it's mobile too, so you don't even need to buy a Switch. You can just play it and learn how to play competitive, or get some fancy, dress up your trainer or your Pokemon, and it's like a mobile experience. Anyway, that's the tone. That's the context for all this. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, and I just believe that, obviously it's going to be a bit different, because us OGs, we know the turn base, but the turn base doesn't always translate to something nowadays. Now, with the Pokemon Legends, doing what they did with the combat. Now, granted, I have not played those games yet. I've heard a lot of great things about them.
It's
they
good.
Look cool. They look cool.
It's good.
I just feel like it's going to be whatever we get for Gen 10 is going to be a hybrid, maybe of stuff we've seen before, but it's still going to be fresh and unique. And I feel like
agree.
I also feel like that's kind of the approach that it needs to do it. I mean, also, like, look at us, OGs. We grew up with the show. Now, you watch the show, it is not like the turn-based you see in the game.
It's like ZA. It's like ZA, and that's what was impressive.
It is, yeah.
That's what was impressive about ZA. It's you're running around with your Pokemon, issuing them commands like the show, but they found ways to implement the turn-based in an interesting way. Like there's cooldowns now. It's almost more like, this is a horrible comparison, but more like a WoW or a Diablo than a typical turn base. You have cooldowns, and those cooldowns are dependent on the attack. So if the attack is like, quick attack, it's a 3-second cooldown. Whereas if you do an attack that is 100 physical damage, the big attacks like Blizzard or something, it's like a 15-second cooldown. So they found interesting ways to bring the turn-based thinking that you have, but making it action and making it much faster. And I don't think this is going to be what Gen 10 is going to be, but I think it might either be optional, like you can switch and toggle between turn-based or regular, or what I think they're actually going to do is they're going to do similar to what you could do in Scarlet Violet, where you can send your Pokemon out and they will auto attack in the field, but if you walk into the Pokemon, it becomes turn-based. Like if your character walks up to them. I think that would be the smartest way to do it, because you can decide, because at certain points you might want to be slower and more methodical and tactical. It's kind of almost like Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can slow down time and pick a command, or you can just go all out. I think if they can find that kind of a marriage for Gen 10, I think we're cooking. I think we're really cooking. And this was a huge step towards that. This was good.
At the end of the day, what Legends it seems to do, ZDA, is that it seems natural to fight like that. Whereas, it's an adjustment for people like us, but I feel like as long as it feels natural, it's simple, yet you can get complex if you want to. That is the formula. And I'm really looking forward to what we see. Again, I'm just going to say straight up, it's not even a prediction at this point. We're going to get Gen 10. I just want to see what they do with the combat. I want to see what they do with all that. And again, it's for all generations. I mean, 30 years of Pokemon is insane.
I know.
And
I want to go to San Francisco so bad for Worlds and for 30th year. Like if I didn't have a wedding, I have a wedding this year, and it's killing me because I could fly to San Francisco for $100, and like they're hosting Worlds there. I'm like, they're gonna have like so much shit's gonna be happening, and I'm like so bummed out because I want to go, but I might go to Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago in June instead. But anyway, that's an aside.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's in Grant Park. I might go and hang with Compiler. You should come out. Be sick.
Oh.
Yeah.
My birthday's in June.
Come on, come on out. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm just really grateful for Pokemon. I just think it's so nice to have a cute, fun thing that can be shallow if you want it to be shallow. It can be deep if you want it to be deep. That's why people love Pokemon. If you're not current on Pokemon and why people like it, it's because on its surface, it can just be mindless fun, but people have gone deep in the mechanics, the stats. There are things that used to be hidden from the player that people figured out how to do, and then Pokemon Company listened and they made them mechanics that you can actually adjust in the game. It's not just like people found out that the way they had built the game is every 4 Pidgeys you attack will bring up your attack stat by 1. So instead, they've added things that will allow you to do that without having to figure out the math yourself. Like, people get really deep in these games, and that's what competitive is. It's all of these nerds that have figured out all of the ways that you can min-max your Pokemon, when this game was originally just like a fun, cute Pokemon game. So it's cool because it's cute on the outside, and you have these cute, fun characters, but then it gets really deep, and that's why people love Pokemon so much. So, well, we have been talking for quite a while. I have been enjoying this quite a lot. I hope everybody listening has. Maybe we'll round it out here with, is there any other games that anyone wants to talk about? Anything else anybody wants to share? Just, any kind of final thoughts?
Really, just Pokemon. I'm just in the Pokemon hype. I am. I guess to be fair, I just recently replayed, or at least started, the original Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for the Game Boy Advance.
Nice.
And,
I've been wanting to do that. Yeah. How is it?
I had the blue version. So the
I never
DS
played.
version.
I never played any of these. So give me the rundown. Like, what's the deal?
So basically, there was 2 versions as most with the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Now, the blue version, you played it on the DS. So your little mini map formed on, yes, this right here. It formed on the bottom screen, and the screen you're looking at right here with like Mudkip and Pikachu is the top screen. Now, the thing that I don't like about the Game Boy Advance version is that as you're progressing through the dungeon map just overlays over everything you're seeing. It's a nitpick for me because I'm not used to that. I'm used to it being on the bottom screen, and every game going forward had the mini map.
So this was like a mid-gen game? Like it kind of crossed
Yes.
both? Okay, gotcha.
But the crazy thing is that these actually had really good stories, like touching stories, especially, the DS sequel to this. They both had really, really good, like surprisingly emotional stories. And when you look at it, it just seems like any kind of like dungeon crawler, but no, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. There was a great leveling system. You got to like some of the enemies you defeat, you get to recruit them to be part of like your rescue team, and then you can just kind of shuffle them out. I'm looking forward to playing a bit more on the Switch Virtual Console. But yeah, it was, I still have these games. They're amazing. They are beautiful. And if you haven't played them before, give them a try. I think they are good at storytelling. They have good mechanics. Yeah, they're great.
The sprite work
honestly.
is so good. I just love this old
Yeah.
sprite work, and I long for a day where we never advanced past this and we just had endless games in this. But that's what the indies are for, right? That's what these studios are going to make.
Did you see that Zatu laugh? He said, "Boo foo 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 foo."
Do we have confirmation that's how Zatu speaks?
Yeah. No, but no, you have to go back a little bit longer. But
Oh.
some of the old people in Pokemon, they laugh and it just says foo 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 foo.
Yeah.
Snort, giggle, foo 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 foo. Wow, that's words to live by.
All right, what about you, Glitch? Anything you want to? I think you had a game you wanted to talk a little bit about.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. I'm just getting excited for Resident Evil, really.
Yeah.
So my payment went through.
Yeah,
today,
I didn't
so I'm
even
hoping
think
get
about
it
this.
A little early. Oh, okay.
No, I didn't think about this. I'm going to start my day with Pokemon and end it with Resident Evil. It's like the opposite. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you you're getting a day one? Are you just going to play it all day, or?
Well, I'm hoping I'm gonna get it early because Best Buy sent me an email that they charged me. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm probably gonna try and play it as fast as I can so I can get it all uploaded onto my YouTube. But yeah. So I'm trying to get through Luto so that I can have time for Resident Evil. I'm kind of wanting to go back and play them all now as well. It's funny. The kind of funny people were talking about how they got into Resident Evil like 7 years ago with the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'm like, that's really funny because I got into it from the original Resident Evil 2. Like, I used to speed run that game. It was
Wow.
probably my obsession after Final Fantasy 7. Like, I even had friends come over and be like, I'm stuck. You need to play the game for me and get me past this section. And the thing that I feel that the new Resident Evil kind of lost that I loved, well, Resident Evil 2 that I feel was lost from the original Resident Evil 2 was something that you mentioned a while ago, that you like that the music is reactive to the game.
Yeah.
So you knew that there was no more zombies when
Yeah,
the
when the music
music
stopped.
was
Yep.
low.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like they didn't really do that as much in the new Resident Evil game. And that really, like, I think that was the first game that I ever even noticed that in video games, and that was like a PlayStation 1 game, which is kind of nuts to me. But yeah, I feel like some of the magic was kind of lost. And there was a thing with a character that was in the first game that you would he was a zombie, and he was like wandering around outside the police station, and then you could kill that zombie, like it was optional, and then you get like a secret item. I can't remember what it was, but they kind of cut that out of the new version of the game. But yeah, man, I nerded out about that game so hard. And I was kind of upset about the Resident Evil 3 remake because it cut out a lot of stuff.
Mm,
And yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of getting ready to do another Resident Evil deep dive, I think, and
that's
maybe
awesome.
play through all of them.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm really stoked. I plan to get the 3-pack, which is Resident Evil 7, 8, and 9 for the Switch 2 for $90, which you can't beat that deal. Because it's
Hmm.
like, I mean, it's crazy. It's like every game was $30 when, if you buy Resident Evil 9 alone, it's like 70. So I'm stoked on that. I haven't played any of those really at all. So yeah, I'm going to start my day with Pokemon and end it with Resident Evil. So I could not be more stoked for Friday. Um, cool.
I feel like Nintendo has something up their sleeve that we haven't even thought of that they're gonna announce.
I mean, again, there's two other rumors. There's a Legends Galar, which is the Sword Shield. There's some rumors about that, which is
I'm
Gen.
thinking like something physical, like physical meets video games. I don't know why. That's just a
Oh,
feeling I
yeah,
have.
who knows? I mean, yeah, I
Like
mean,
something completely new, not necessarily a video game.
well, merch is their largest proportion of their business by a mile, so that's very possible. Like that's what makes them the most money by far. Games is actually a very small portion of it. It's mostly merch. Um,
They
so
need to do a new like Pikachu pedometer type thing.
yeah, that'd be sick. That would be sick.
I
Yeah.
recently just found my old one for part gold, literally
Dude,
today.
dude, hold on to
Oh,
that. It's
cool.
like $100 alone. I have mine as well.
Yeah.
I have mine as well. Um, cool. Well, I
Oh wait, Steven, didn't you want to talk about something that you were gonna do soon?
No.
No, you don't? Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Don't know what you're talking about. I
uh
mean,
Okay.
geez, I have
uh-huh.
nothing to hide.
Oh my God, you have nothing to hide
Okay.
ever. Nothing at all.
Maybe stay tuned, enjoyers of this podcast, because everyone will like that.
Okay.
Well, let's we'll do a round
Or
robin and
keep it
kind
a
of
secret.
plug just our own channels or whatever we do or don't want to plug. You can check me out at Liminal Faces Gaming. Not too much going on the YouTube channel right now. This podcast is the first of things to come, but I'm big into exploring liminal spaces, liminal vibes. I want to make my first kind of game, what do you call it, kind of deep dive. But I'm trying not to go too big too quickly. I was thinking the other day, I might talk about Super Mario Brothers 2. That game is liminal as hell. It is
I would agree.
very
Even just the
weird.
concept
It is bizarre. It was not
started
supposed to
as
be a
one thing.
Mario game. It was supposed to be one thing. It's a different
Yeah.
thing. If you don't know what liminal means, it's just generally, in between two things, thresholds, like places you shouldn't be for long, but you're there anyway. There's a lot of stuff like that in Super Mario 2, and that would be quicker and easier to make a video on. So I might start there because I was playing it the other day and I've never beaten it. But anyway, Liminal Faces Gaming. You can check me out there. Glitch, you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, I'm Glitch Blitch. You can check me out on YouTube at the Glitch Blitch. Right now, I just started playing Luto. It's kind of like a PT successor that you basically do loops. But this game is specifically, it seems, I've only played like the first two chapters so far, about loss, anxiety, paranoia, death. And basically, you can't leave your house, and you're going to be moving soon, and your house is full of boxes, and somebody recently has died, and you're kind of exploring your house,
How do you
and
spell
then you
it?
discover there's Luto.
Oh,
So
Luto.
yeah, basically it starts out that you're like in your bathroom and you explore your house, and then it kind of each chapter gets a little longer, and then you kind of are doing a loop around your house, and then you discover that there's a trap door in your basement, and then for some reason there's more house, and then you're going in circles around this new part of the house, and then there's another basement, and you're basically going through in a loop, and then each time you loop there's something new,
Oh, wow.
and there's kind of a puzzle you have to solve, and there's creepy monkeys, and at one point I even had to like randomly put numbers into a telephone, and then I found notes from my mother who was teaching me Spanish. So I go into this room with like these things that look like people with tarps over them, and then I pick up this flashcard that
Holy
says phantomas
moly.
slash ghosts, and you're like,
Wow.
what the heck? And yeah, it's a psychological horror, which is kind of refreshing
Yeah, it looks
because I'm
great.
tired of screaming in
Jump
the middle of the
scares.
night.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, very
Yeah, it's
cool.
not even that much jump scares, but like just creepy things happening. And at one point, a pixelated coin, like from a video game, showed up,
Whoa. So doing like
and then like it
mixed
seemed like
medium.
I got kidnapped. Yeah, and then I'm suddenly in a desert. Like
Whoa.
it
Trippy.
seems like there might be some unreliable narrator situation going on.
Whoa. Lots
That
going on.
when I paused the game to answer a text, I came back, and then the narrator voice was like, for some reason, they stood and stared off into the distance for a little
It's doing like
while,
meta
and I was like,
stuff.
"What the heck?"
Amazing.
Yeah, and
Stanley
I was like, "Are
Parable.
they talking about me pausing?" Like, it was so weird. And yeah, and then I'm walking around in a little those little scent things that air freshener went off upstairs, and then for some reason it didn't bother him that the air freshener went off upstairs when he wasn't there. And it's just so strange.
Whoa.
And I'm loving it so far.
Wow, very cool. Very, very cool. Well,
Yeah.
it looks great. Yeah, I've been playing some footage here. I was like, isn't Ludo a game? And then it was pulling up the board game Ludo, which is basically Sorry. It's like the original version of Sorry. I was like, I feel like I played
Yeah.
Ludo before, but I found it. Yeah, I see now. Okay, cool. Well, awesome. Very cool
Yeah, and
endorsement.
it's a
Yeah,
lot of like spatial audio stuff. So
very cool.
like I was reading a note and then it sounded like a door open beside me. It's really creepy.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing, and you can all check that out as well if you're interested. Steven, anything else you want to end on?
Yeah, so I'm going to be starting a project soon. So right now I am a baby boy channel because there's nothing on my channel whatsoever. However, in conjunction with doing this podcast, so for those of you that don't know, New Age Retro Steven is a play on the Earthbound character called a New Age Retro Hippie. I made this username a long time ago, but I was thinking, you know what? New Age Retro is actually a nice combination to have. So in the state that I live in, I'm going to be starting to review, or not necessarily review, but just kind of go ahead and peruse through local game stores, video game stores that sell retro games and all that, whatnot. And I just feel like it's a personal project of mine that I like to do. There's some in my area that I like, and there's also a lot of hidden gems in my area that I had no clue about. So I feel like if I wanted to just kind of do my own project, I will post some footage onto my YouTube, youtube.com/New Age Retro Steven, the one and only. There will only be one. And that being said, I just feel like it's really good to support local businesses, independent businesses, especially the ones that sell, they sell retro video games. A lot of these places also do like, card games, board games, whatnot. And I feel like these are businesses that we should all see, enjoy, and frequent. And I would love to give them some spotlight while also enjoying them for myself. So that is going to be starting development tomorrow. I will keep on at it, and I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Well, awesome. Yeah, I love that. I think you're perfect for that. I can't think of anything better. So everybody be on the lookout. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Again, appreciate you for tuning in. This is a weekly thing that we do. I believe we should be trying to drop this tomorrow. We're aiming for Wednesdays when as we can. Yeah, I've been your host, Lim, and yeah, I was joined by the Glitch Blitch and New Age Retro Steven. Thank you for being here, and until next time, thank you for tuning in to Everyone Like That.
Goodbye, everybody. Make sure to give
Bye.
your enemies a snort, giggle, and a boo foo foo.